Okay, so for future reference, I used to live in this apartment kind of thing, but it wasn't really an apartment. It was a big house with a lot of rooms, and my mom was a manager. So I was 12, and I thought it would be a regular Saturday. I woke my mom up, I asked her to make me breakfast, and we were pretty much spending the day home. So she was in the kitchen, and she was talking to all the girls who lived there, and I was in my room watching TV. And I was watching my favorite show on Nickelodeon, Victorious, and there was this episode where there was stage fighting. And what was happening was the two main girls were stage fighting, and then one had accidentally hit the other. And it was this whole thing, she had a black eye. But if you don't know what stage fighting is, it's basically fake fighting in movies or plays, stuff like that, and they have a lot of sound effects to make it look real. And so I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, wow, this is so cool, I'd love to do this one day. I want to get in a wrestle with somebody or something. And then I hear my cousin banging on my door, telling me to let her in. And I don't like my cousin. I do not. She's annoying, she's mean, she plays a lot of pranks on me to the point where she wants to look good all the time and make me look bad in front of all the adults. So I let her in because I don't want to hear the banging, and we're watching the show together. And I'm thinking, I really want to do this, and I'm thinking, what if I accidentally hit her during stage fighting? Just to get a little bit of revenge, for all those years of having to deal with her. And so I'm thinking, I'm creating a plan, and then I look at her and I'm like, hey, do you want to try that out? And she's like, yeah, it looks cool. So we go into one of the vacant rooms, and I'm showing her the basics, the regular put your hand to your chin and then you smack it and it makes it look like, you got slapped or something. And we're messing around, and my mom comes in and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, the stage fighting. And she said, fighting just clicked in her head, and she's like, no, don't do it. And I was like, why? And she's like, you always get hurt, don't do it. And I was like, Ma, it's fake, everything's fake, don't worry. And she's like, no, don't do it. And then she leaves. And I look at her like, do you want to continue? She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I know that my mom will eventually come back and check on me. So I'm thinking, okay, my plan's gotta activate, I gotta do this. And I'm not gonna hit her hard, but enough to be like, oh crap, surprise her. And so I asked her hey, can I do high kick on you? And she's like, okay, but it's not real, right? And I was like, of course not. So I'm getting ready, and I'm looking at her, I'm thinking this is gonna work. And I swear there's this presence called karma. And she's waiting right there, she's watching this whole thing. And I'm getting ready, I'm getting in my stance, and then I do it, I kick her, I'm like, bah. And she says ow, and then right when I'm putting my foot down, I put all my weight on it. And there's a dent in the floor. So right when I step down, my knee comes out of its socket and back in, all in one go. And I'm on the floor, and I'm crying, and I'm screaming, and she's laughing, for one. And I'm my mom comes in, and she's yelling at me, and she's like, I told you not to do this, I told you not to do this. And she's just yelling and yelling, and I can't hear her. I'm just saying, I'm sorry, but I can't hear anything she's saying because I'm in pain. And she takes me inside, and we're, everything's going down. And then the next day, she's like, okay, we're going to take you someplace to get better. And I was like, okay. And this is that moment, in those memes where, regular moms and Mexican moms. So I'm thinking she's taking me to the doctor. She takes me to a swap meet to get massaged by a masseuse there. And I was in pain. I'm sure he's a good guy at what he does, but I couldn't feel that because I was dying inside. So yeah, it was great. So after a couple months, or not a couple months, a few days later, the swelling went down. A few years later, I had to get it checked out because I had a little party trick where I could move a bone in me. I went to the doctors, and they were like, you can't do that. And I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. So I got surgery and everything was fine after that.